Hello, princesses, and welcome back to Not Fit for Print Beauty with me, Rebecca. Today we have a little bit of a departure video, just some true fun playing with makeup. We are going to revisit a palette that I've actually already reviewed, so I will link the full review below, but I'll tell you what we're going to do with it today. Today we are talking about the fairly recently released Be Mine palette from the lovely independent brand here from my home state of California, Sydney Grace. And I'll tell you why we are revisiting this. This was released just before Valentine's Day, so pretty much end of January, early February of this year, and there's a reason we are revisiting it. It is because it gives me a chance to collaborate with a good friend of mine here on YouTube, Andrea B. Hi, Andrea. Andrea and I have been friends here on YouTube for what now, Andrea? Almost 2 years. And Andrea knows I always call her out on her own YouTube channel. I always call out to her. I've even put her name on my screen before because whenever I want to see any sort of a certain shade on a deep skin tone, I always say, Andrea, try this on for me. She knows that I do that. And I also always joke with Andrea that she has this like perfect face for makeup. I called her, I believe it was a lip model, like perfect. If you want to advertise a lipstick, put it on Andrea. Just these perfect features. And because we were talking about this, she and I both love Sydney Grace because we both love playing with eyeshadow. And Sydney Grace does this really cool thing, you guys, where if you didn't know this, they do all of their palettes in light and deep. So it's like the same palette, but they'll take a handful of the shades and change them up for a deep palette and a light palette. It can go with skin tones. There's no rules, though. You can buy whichever palette you want or both. Because other than that, both palettes are always the same. I usually buy just one. I buy the light only because I don't really like a darker eye look. But Andrea bought the darker, and so we decided let's do dual collaborative videos where I work with the lighter Be Mine palette and Andrea is going to do a look with the darker or deeper Be Mine palette. Okay, so let's talk about Sydney Grace really quickly because you know me in my teaching moments, not talking down to anyone who has been following the makeup industry for a long time, but I do want to tell you that Sydney Grace is not a person. And I get that a lot in my comments. People say she when referring to Sydney Grace, and I certainly understand that, but let's correct it so that we know. Sydney Grace was actually formerly known as Feather River Body. Raise your hand in comments. Let me know if you remember when they were Feather River Body, but they did change the name. It is a company owned and run by two sisters, Heather and Laura, and they renamed their brand Sydney Grace to reflect their oldest daughter's names. So Sydney Grace is a name conglomeration of both Heather and Laura's two oldest daughters. It is not, actually three oldest daughters, I believe actually. So it is not one person. And I just thought I would tell you that again, not talking down to anyone who knows. If you are fairly new to the makeup industry or into independent makeup brands, you might not have known that, so I just wanted to let you know. Okay, let's talk about this palette. Again, my original review when it was brand new, I have linked down below so that you can take a look at it. But let's just discuss today the shades that are different. So what I've done is I took a white eyeliner pencil, kind of a waxy white eyeliner pencil, and I put little X's. Now, Sydney Grace shadow formulas are very soft, so mine has gotten a bit messy, and I tried to clean it and probably made it worse. So forgive my messy, well-loved palette. We have 6 shades, so there's 15 shades total. Let me just let you look at the shades first total. Let me get the light off of them there. And we have 6 of those 15 that are brand new, and you will see I have put a little X next to the names of the 6 that are new. And those are, that are different. And those are Smooch, All Mine, Love Me, Flirty, Soulmates, and Darling. There's nothing in that bottom row that differs between the light and dark palettes, but in the top 2 rows there are a total of 6 that are different. Full everything and longer version of this will be in my original review below if you are interested. What I want to do now in 2 different lights is I'm going to show you the palette. Now I had to keep the whole palette in there, so what I have done, you're going to see in the swatches, is the bottom row on my arm is the rest of the palette. And on the top row of my arm, I have just done the shades that differ between the light and the deep palette. Please remember that I am showing you the light palette, and my friend Andrea B on her channel is going to show you the dark palette, the deeper palette, we should call it. All right, take a look here at my arm in studio lighting. All those shades that are similar between the light and the deep palette are on the bottom, and on the top in left to right, we have Smooch, All Mine, Love Me, Flirty, Soulmates, and Darling. Those 6 shades differ between the light and the deep palettes. Let's take a look at those same swatches on my arm outside in the warm California sunshine. Andrea's all the way over in New York, so we're doing a kind of an East and West Coast collab here. But over for the West Coast, let's go out in the sunshine and let's take a look at those same swatches on my arm. Again, on the very top, we go from left to right. Smooch, All Mine, Love Me, Flirty, Soulmates, and Darling. Those are the 6 shades again that differ between the light and the deep palettes. Now it's time to have some fun, which is what Andrea and I decided to do with this to begin with. We are going to come back with nothing on my eyes, and I'm going to show you the look I do using solely the shades that differ that are in my light palette. Don't forget to check out Andrea's look with the deep shades. Stay right there. Okay, let's get started on this using only the 6 shades, or some of the 6 shades, that are a little different in the lighter palette. So I kind of have a choice. If we look again, and I'll zoom you guys in at where I put the little white eyeliner X's there, we kind of have a choice between a more mustardy brown look or a pinker look. But I really want to get into some of the shimmer shades. And this shimmer gold is the same in both palettes. So the only kind of shimmer shade these 2 are different. So let's go with a kind of pinkier shade. And I'll put the actual shade names up on the screen, of course. But remember, we are only working with the lighter shades in the light and deep version of the Be Mine palette. So we are going to start here with the BK Beauty Angie Hot and Flashy A205 brush into, I'll just tell you now, the shade Smooch. Now this is a kind of a metallic shade, and I am hooded eye, as so many of us are, but I don't care because we are going to actually put a matte in the crease, so I do not mind if I have a little bit of kind of a metallic thing all over the eye. I think it adds an interesting depth because I am going to get that that matte into the crease. And like I said, we're going to go kind of with a pink look. So we're going to go right here next with this kind of a rosy shade. I can't get enough of the rosy shade, you guys. You told me on some of these other rosy palettes that we've had released that you were so done with rose, and here I go again with rose. This is probably why we see so many rose palettes on the market. No, not because of me, silly, but I am reflecting what a lot of people out there buy and like. Okay, so just going in kind of circular motions and getting that really pretty pink shade high up into the crease. And what I have done, as you see, if you have hooded eyes like me, and so many of us do, is I have taken, I know it's best, you don't have to, but it's best when you have hooded eyes to get that shade into the crease, but you can still kind of layer that kind of matte shade over something that isn't matte. I am going to take now a BK Beauty 206 brush. We're using BK Beauty today, always a pleasure. And we're going to go into this shade right here and just sweep it across the eyelid. I am making a few videos today with the peeliest of noses. I am not sick and I do not know why my nose is peeling. So this is going to be a call tonight for, I'm just sweeping this over with this beautiful brush, even over the darker matte shade that we laid down. This is going to be a call tonight for some of my Tatcha Indigo. It really does help that redness, and peeling really does help. And now we're going to move over to my favorite BK Beauty brush of all time. Don't know why I love this so much, but I do. It is the 204. And I'm going to go into the lighter shade that we were using, the pink, and just run it all the way under the eye. Okay, as well as this shade here that we used in the corner. Now this allows me some room to play with Flirty, this shade right here, which is different in the light and dark palettes, and it just kind of lets me layer that on over it. Ooh, that is pretty. And what I want to do now, you guys, is I want to get on some really black liner and super, super dark mascara. And then we'll see what look we have when we are finished. Okay, right here is the finished look. I love pink and black together. So the really black mascara and the really black, it's the extreme black Pat McGrath Permagel liner. I just love this look. Is very me, very everyday, and just kind of perfect just to run errands, go to work. I would even go to a meeting like this. I really, really, really enjoy it. And if you haven't played with the Sydney Grace formula, you should, especially if you love a good eyeshadow, and don't we all? Now, as usual, I cannot wait to see what Andrea does with this palette. She is so inventive, so I will definitely link hers below. Make sure that you check it out and give her a big hug from me, please. And make sure that you tell me all your comments. Tell me your thoughts about Sydney Grace. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I sure hope that you did. Hey, if you haven't already done so, make sure that you subscribe to my channel. We got so much good stuff coming up in the next little bit, and I wouldn't want to miss any of you. See you all in the next video. Bye-bye.